The sun hung low over Lagos, its golden rays barely cutting through the haze of smoke and tension that gripped the city. From the rooftops of the safe house in Surulere, the distant hum of engines and voices was a constant reminder of the chaos that General Bako had unleashed. Agu stood near a table cluttered with maps and notes. His jaw set tight. Amaka sat beside him, her fingers tracing the lines of a makeshift plan they'd been refining since dawn. Kunle leaned against the wall, silent but watchful, the fire in his eyes unshaken.
The people are restless,
Amaka said, her voice heavy.
Bako's forces are clamping down harder. Roadblocks, patrols. He's choking the city.
Agu's hands tightened into a fist. He's trying to scare us into submission. But fear doesn't win wars. Courage does. Kunle smirked, his tone lighter than the tension in the room.
Well, lucky for us, Lagosians have courage in spades.
The door burst open and Adamu, a young courier from their network, stumbled in out of breath.
Aye, Oga, wallahi, they are pounders. Bako's men are closing, they're closing now. They are hitting all our safe houses across the city.
The team sprang into action. Amaka grabbed the radio and started issuing orders to other cells, while Agu and Kunle armed themselves.
We need to move now,
Kunle said.
They'll be here any minute.
As they prepared to evacuate, the unmistakable rumble of military vehicles grew louder. Agu's sharp eyes caught movement outside the window. Soldiers in combat gear, their weapons glinting under the evening sun.
They are here,
Agu muttered.
Amaka, take the maps and fall back. Kunle and I will buy you time.
Amaka hesitated, her eyes locking with Agu's.
No, we fight together. This isn't a debate.
Agu snapped, his tone harsh, but his gaze soft.
We can't lose you too.
Go! Reluctantly, Amaka grabbed the maps and joined Adamu, who led her through a hidden exit. Kunle clapped Agu on the shoulder.
Looks like it's just you and me again, eh?
Let's make it count, Agu replied, a grim smile crossing his face. The soldiers moved in swiftly, their boots pounding against the cracked pavement as they surrounded the house. Agu and Kunle opened fire, their bullets slicing through the night air. Explosions lit up the street as grenades shattered windows and sent debris flying. Inside, Agu moved like a shadow, his movements fluid despite the ache in his ribs. Kunle, ever the bold fighter, held the front line, his shotgun tearing through enemy ranks. But Bako's forces were relentless. For every soldier they downed, two more seemed to take their place. Smoke filled the air, choking and thick, and the sound of gunfire became a deafening symphony of destruction. In the chaos, Kunle spotted a rocket launcher being set up by the soldiers. His heart sank as he realized their plan. They intended to bring the entire building down.
Agu!
Kunle shouted over the noise.
They are setting up heavy artillery.
Agu's eyes followed Kunle's pointing hand.
We need to take it out.
Kunle shook his head, a determined look in his face.
You go. I'll handle it.
No! Agu backed.
We do this together.
But Kunle was already moving, darting through the smoke and rubble with a speed and purpose that made him a blur. He knew there was no time for debate. If he didn't act now, everyone in the safe house and the resistance they represented would be wiped out. With a roar, Kunle charged towards the soldiers, his grenades in his hands. The first explosion sent the soldiers scattering, but the second landed squarely on the launcher, destroying it in a fiery burst. Agu's shout of "Kunle, no!" was lost in the noise as the blast engulfed his friend. The shockwave threw Agu to the ground and the dust settled. Kunle was gone. The resistance regrouped in a hidden bunker later that night, the weight of Kunle's absence pressing heavily on them. Amaka's eyes were red, her grief barely contained as she tended to Agu's wounds. He knew what he was doing, Agu said quietly, his voice raw. He saved us. He saved the moment. Adamu stepped forward, his voice trembling.
What is spreading, wallahi? People are hearing about what Bako did here. About Kunle's sacrifice. They are angry. They are ready to fight.
Amaka looked up, her tears tears replaced by steely determination.
Then, we make sure his death wasn't in vain. We rally everyone, students, traders, artisans. Lagos won't bow to tyranny.
As dawn broke, the city began to stir. From the markets of Balogun to the crowded streets of Yaba, whispers of Kunle's heroism spread like wildfire. Protesters took to the streets, their chants of Sorosoke, 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 echoing across bridges and neighborhoods. Young men and women raised makeshift barricades, defying the soldiers who tried to suppress them. Back at the bunker, Agu watched the newsfeed showing the swelling crowds. He turned to Amaka, his voice resolute.
This is bigger than us now. Kunle gave them hope, but it's up to us to lead them.
Amaka nodded, her gaze fierce.
And it starts with taking down Bako.
In Ikoyi, General Bako stood before a map of Lagos, his expression unreadable. Adisa entered the room, his face pale.
The city is rising against us.
Adisa reported.
Kunle's death has turned him into a martyr. The people
I don't care about the people, Bako snapped.
They are ants, and I am the boot. Prepare Operation Iron Fist. This ends now. But sir, if we escape...
Do it! Bako roared, slamming his fist on the table.
I want every member of Sorosuke dead by sundown.
The stage was set for the final confrontation. With Kunle's death fueling their resolve, Agu and Amaka prepared to lead the people of Lagos in their most daring mission yet. Bako's forces were closing in, but Sorosuke had something stronger than weapons. They had a city united in defiance. The battle for Lagos had truly begun.